What is up, Scar Knight, bringing you a little brand new thing that I decided to do because I am very late. A couple months back there has been early demo of Gold and Silver versions revealed in the beta version or something like that, something along those lines, and I was late to the party. I wanted to avoid spoilers. I did see a couple Pokemon, but yeah, I guess there were some Pokemon that they scrapped and they decided to go in a different direction. So I just wanted to see one Pokemon at a time. Hopefully this won't take all that long. I saw other well, I noticed that there was other speculation videos and that they were like an hour long or whatever, and then it varies between 30 and an hour. So hopefully it won't take that long, but I'm gonna critique these guys, and I'm not a professional critiquist or whatever it is, so don't you worry about that. I kind of like Pokemon sprites, really. So yeah, let's get started with this first Pokemon. I'm already looking at my webpage, and I'm probably gonna go zoom in on most of these. So honestly, I kind of don't understand already, because like I see Chikorita right here, and then I see Meganium on the other side, but what the heck is this in between? Because it looks kind of like a bird of some kind. Yeah, I'm not really sure, honestly. I think it's because since Meganium has like the flower that's blossom and then the neck go through, that the in-between stages, that's the beginning of the flower petal. But it's interesting that it's kind of a bird, almost. It has 3 antennas. I mean, you guys could see it better because I zoomed it to 500% and I still can't really see it clearly. Then we go to the fire starters. This is a bit different. I remember seeing this guy in the past before. Like, if you ever go to Bulbapedia, you know, the little fire cat thing. I always thought that it was like a different variation of Pikachu at the time, but this was always around. The evolutions, however, wasn't, so I guess it's some type of cat, because here's the second stage evolution. It's basically like a fatter version of Toro Cat. You know, because when I showed you in the past, I always wanted to do this 3 starters. I wanted to have like a fire cat that will turn into a bigger cat and then to a lion. Not really like this one, but like, you know, kind of the same stature as like Entei and Solgaleo. But I would say the same stature as Raikou, if anything. And then the water one would be a dog, and then turns into like a Labrador, and then turns into a wolf, you know, and then it would fit the triangle, and the Grassar would be a T-Rex, because I can't really fit anything else. But what I initially thought, since cats hate water, you know, so it would be a fire type because of the mane and all that. It just makes sense, okay? And then the dog would be strong against the cat, you know. Either way, I'm not going to talk about my own starters. I posted a picture of what it roughly looks like, but I'm not really the best drawer with the mouse, so anyway. Yeah, so I'll also show you all the back sprites and all that stuff. This is going to be a ton of stuff to edit. And then we got the water starters, which is interesting because we got Oshawott, and then we got Poplio, so there's that type of variation. So we got that variation, and then we got the evolution that kind of looks like a dugong. So maybe that's the reason why. And the final evolution is that right there. It also looks like a mixture. Yeah, what it looks like to me is like a mixture between an evolution of Primanera and Drampa, kind of. That's what it reminds me of. And here's an interesting thing. I see Hoot Hoot right there, you know, nothing different about that. But then I see an evolution that kind of looks like a Pidgeot almost, combined with the Noctowl. So maybe this was the original version of it. I kind of like this one better, honestly. It's more intense. I kind of like it. I also see the evolution of Mareep right here. It looks more pinkish, so I kind of I like the yellow Mareep that has blue skin better, and then Fluffy, you know. I still like Mareep better. Ampharos, everybody likes Ampharos. I mean, come on. The only thing that hinders it is the speed, really. But Maripa's pink, Flaffy looks a bit fluffier. Ampharos looks pretty much the same. So we got like some kind of Vulpix look-alike. I'm not really sure. There's no actual evolution to it. I mean, then again, in second gen, they always have like, you know, like Gligar and all of them that just has single stage evolution. So I guess that's fine. We also have like a Tangela slash Oddish lookalike right here, and this one has an evolution. I'm not really sure about this one because they usually have like a back sprite, unless this is the underside. Because here's the white version, and then here this is the underside, I'm assuming, so maybe this is the back sprite. That's interesting. You know, a lot of people actually catch this Pokemon just to see that. Yeah, that's really cool. So everybody's favorite Pokebetomon that I've seen before, and that is, of course, little baby Pichu. Now, an interesting thing that I thought about, I might bring this up later actually, I'll bring it up later. But yeah, little baby Pichu, I actually like this design. If anything, they might even make like a, they could do so much with Pikachu, because like if they keep making new things and making a Lola Raichu, and then like they're gonna do something else in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee to make Pikachu more broken or whatever, they could keep doing things like as long as he's the mascot, he will never die. So what they could do is they can make like I don't know, like perfect Super Pikachu, perfect Ultra Megas Pikachu or something like that. And the way to do that, you would have to breed this type of Pichu. Or you could say that, like, you know how the breeder in Oras like gives you the cosplay Pikachu? This could be very well like the new variation of Pichu that breeder came up with, because that cosplay Pikachu is very, very specific. And it's very different of how it, you know, develops, because you know, it learns different moves and stuff. There's Rockstar Pikachu and Machu Picchu Pikachu. No, it's Luchador Pikachu. That's just what I like to call him. But yeah, it's really cool. We got ourselves Cleffa right here. It has like a little thing on his head. Is that what's like hiding behind like Clefairy's hair or something? Or is it just her hair? Because it looks like the shape of the body. Yeah, and then there's Igglybuff, more rounder. No ears. I like the original design of, like, I mean, Pichu, you know, what I saw on Twitter, like, there's just so much good. You know, everybody grown to love this Pichu, but, like, for Cleffa and Igglybuff, I kind of like the original design better. This one right here, there's Quagsire. This Quagsire looks a bit better, honestly, in my opinion, because I like the more detail on the back. The only thing is the tail looks bigger and like it looks more froggish in a way. I'm not really sure what Quagsire is originally anyway. But you know, I love Quagsire already, so it's fine. I'm guessing they just kept Wooper as it is. I see Natsu and Xatu right there. Is kind of like a recoloring, really. So they decided on green mostly, and then like other variations of colors. So that's kind of cool. They need to make like a evolution. Like I saw some evolutions in the past where they made Xatu like more of a totem pole, and then have the Apache headdress. So that would have been a lot better if they did that. I'm not really sure what this is. It looks like a baby evolution of Goldeen, maybe, which is interesting. Meryl's completely different. This one's pink. It definitely would have. I could see that they were going for the fairy type at some point, because ever since they started breeding, fairy was always an egg group. So yeah. We got these 3 water evolutions right here, where there's this fish, this kind of, I could tell that, like, based on the second evolution right here, like, you know, the head was gonna extend outward behind him. So here's this one, and I'm not sure if this one evolves into this 3rd evolution that turns into a piranha. Kind of reminds me of Huntail almost, but I kind of like this one better, just a little bit. It looks a little bit more slipperier, so you know, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I see Quillfish right there, and then there has an evolution of some type. It looks a lot bulkier. I actually would have preferred and liked Quillfish a lot more. And yeah, Quillfish is one of those single stage Pokemon that I was referring to as well. So yeah, that's really cool. I would have liked Quillfish a lot more, trust me. Like, I like evolutions when it comes to Pokemon. Just single stage evolutions, it doesn't do it justice, I feel. It's kind of not good when that happens. And then we got Crobat with a different type of sprite. Roughly the same, except it looks a little bit heavier on the chin. The chin looks stronger, really. So that's kind of cool. I'm not really sure what about this one. This is like a different variation of a mushroom. It kind of looks like a Paris, kind of. Maybe this was originally supposed to be the baby Pokemon of Paris or some type. Then we got Spinarak. He has like a sprite change, and then Ari does have more of a sprite change. I actually could see this in like a ROM hack. Like, they would design it this way. It kind of looks I can't talk. Legend of Zelda-esque. Then we got Skarmory. Skarmory looks kind of normal. And then there's this little silly putty thing that's right after it. I don't know why they showed Skarmory. I mean, no, Skarmory looks the same. I mean, I guess he has like a little bit of a... No, the sprite looks exactly the same. I don't know. But yeah, there's the silly putty. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, like, if you ever saw Hotel Transylvania with the little screaming pudding or whatever it was. I don't remember. But like, they would just start yelling, or whatever. And I remember, like, it was the werewolf or something. Maybe it was Dracula. He just bit it right off, and then, you know, there you go. I forget what it was though. It was either pudding or screaming something. Shoot. This one I don't know. I think it's by itself because the following one is something entirely different. I'm not even sure what this is, honestly. Looks like a hairy bird. I don't know. And then we got Sunflora right here with the redesign. We got Phanpy right here. Oh shoot, that's cool. I like Phanpy's redesign. Actually, I like the Phanpy right now. Looks perfectly fine. And then we got Donphan. I can't really tell by the color model if they wanted it to be brown or orange, but I kind of like the current design of Phanpy and Donphan, honestly. Because Donphan looks like a tire and it looks like it could take down. The only thing about Donphan, I wish it was a bit bigger and wider, because it's supposed to be an elephant, but like in the anime and in the games, it looks kind of smaller than like a Machamp, and like I feel like an elephant should be bigger than a Machamp, you know. But yeah, that's really cool. I think this is a single evolution, or is this the same evolution? I'm assuming it's the single evolution. It's like a dual ghost, which is interesting. You know, something else, the ghost that's in Sylph Tower that you can't really recognize, I feel like that might as well be his own Pokemon. And the Spite little ball thing, I feel like that should be a Pokemon as well. This one's interesting. And the reason I wasn't really sure is because the following Pokemon they feature is Girafarig, where it has like the dual heads. Girafarig, as you could already know, is like, it has just the normal spike ball look-alike. It's not really a spike ball, but you know what I mean. I already knew that the original, they wanted to do the dual thing. This is another Pokemon that they featured, that they found in the files in Bulbapedia. And yeah, that's what I mean though, like, because there's the dual ghost and then there's another dual Pokemon. I say that they're different because, you know, they're ghosts and then they just randomly turn into giraffes. That makes no sense. So, I'm not really sure how I feel, like, whether I like this one or the other one more. Not many people use Girafarig. They only use them when they have to, you know, like, the only other time I know someone used a Girafarig was when they did like it was some type of variation of Nuzlocke where they couldn't evolve a Pokemon, so they were able to use Girafarig and that actually helped them in their team. So, you know, there's that. I see a lot of interesting Pokemon on the screen right now. I'm trying not to like skip over all over the place, so there's that. Yeah, Girafarig's another Pokemon that needs a Prevo and an evolution, where the backside of it is much stronger. I don't really necessarily want the two Girafarigs like this, because the other one looks like the darker version, so I feel like it should be stronger. Because it's normal psychic, and you know, I don't know. Girafarig definitely deserves the spotlight. It's an interesting Pokemon. Here's Smeargle's redesign. And then here's, look, there's Meowth pre-evo. You could tell. That one's cool. I remember seeing that on Twitter as well. There's like very few Pokemon I've seen before I look at this. And there's another type of kitty Pokemon. Almost like a Purloin. And here's the evolution. There's something on its tail. I wish I could zoom in more, but I can't. But yeah, there's the little cat. And then there's that. I think it's supposed to be a bell, I'm pretty sure. And I highly doubt that it is Purloin and Lightbird, unless they just like said, no, we're not gonna use the bell. It's just interesting to look at the like behind the mind of how they think with these Pokemon, really. Like for example, this is the first Politoed. You could tell by the belly, because there's Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Poliwrath, and you know, ever since Generation 1 they were saying, oh, I wish he could maybe he could evolve another time to actually turn into a frog, since he's still technically a tadpole. And then there's Politoed. I'm not the best fan of Politoed, but I definitely like the current design of Politoed more than this one, because this one makes it look like it's really, really big. I think it's because of based off mythology. Japan always make like the frogs and toads humongous. You know, this reminds me of Digimon with that one Jesus Christ. No, that one Digimon that was like sleeping and they were afraid that he would wake up, but you know, he was a Digivolution of, you know, this frog and then this tadpole. But yeah, I'm not really familiar with the main story of the frog or whatever, but you know, there's that. There's Slowking's really, really subtle redesign. It's roughly the same though, it's just the top of the head's different. Unknown looks pretty much the same to me. Maybe there was like a different color they were gonna go for or something. And we got Ladybug, who's green. And then there's something right here that's red. Maybe the Skarmory thing, maybe this squishy thing's supposed to be Skarmory in the evolution form, but for some reason they just flip-flop them reversed. Because this one looks like a smaller version of this thing. I don't see a lady in anywhere though. So they originally wanted to have it red and then to evolve it green. I kind of like the Ladybug Ladian over this one. I don't think Ladybug needs a baby evolution. I mean, unless they made Ladybug stronger, but then that would mean Ladybug would compete with like other Pokemon. Or the best would be top subpar Pokemon? I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't really see Ladybug being a legitimate strong Pokemon. You know, he was just that Pokemon in the first route that nobody, you know, yeah, pretty much. Here's another variation of that fox Pokemon. I don't know why it's over here. Like, it's like 4 rows down. It looks as similar as the other one that looks like the Vulpix lookalike. Oh wait, you know what? Actually, this is like a Ponyta thing. Yeah, see, because the thing is, it's not zoomed into an extreme extent so I could see everything. But you know, Espeon has a wild change. I actually like this design more. Because there's Espeon that's purple. I mean, some people are fine with it. I know a lot of people that love Espeon. Espeon is not my... I don't think he's my top 5 really, so because I like Umbreon, Glaceon, I like Flareon, I like Leafeon, Jolteon, Vaporeon. If anything, Espeon might be my least favorite, but that don't distinguish it as me saying like, oh well, Espeon is garbage or something like that. I think all the evolutions are actually really good. It's just like, it just so happens Espeon's not my most favorite, you know. But this one, it makes him more enlightened. It makes him more pure in the psychic type, you know. But probably the reason they changed the colors because there's already Persian that has this color variation. And you know, yeah, it's just. Or they originally wanted to have a light type, but they decided instead to go for a psychic type. But it makes more sense if it was psychic. It would have made it seem more powerful just on stature alone, you know? It would have seemed more pure in the psychic type. Anyway, there's Umbreon's redesign. It's a similar sprite, but I think it's just slightly different in color. This one's interesting, and I noticed this one earlier. Here's the Slowking shoulder thing. I'm not really sure what it's called. Shoulder cloister. What should I call this thing? Like Clodder? I don't know. I noticed that the thing next to it looks like the pre-evolution, which is why I kind of think that the Skarmory and then the Ladybug are like, I don't know why they decided to put this all different, but yeah, it's actually, I was thinking that too, like they might as well make this a Pokemon, you know, because it is technically a Shelter evolution. And I remember as a kid, I tried to evolve Slowpoke into Slowbro, and I had Shelter in the party, and I'm all like, what the heck, how come it's not evolving? It's just normally by level up. Shelter would not even be in your Pokédex, and it could still evolve into a Slowbro. It just magically evolves into it. There's no... You know, it's fine to have Mantique evolve into Mantine with the Remoraid. You know, that's something unfortunate they did, but they did nothing with Slowpoke and Shelter evolve into Slowbro, or Slowking for that matter, because Slowking, you use a King's Rock. But then people could theorize that like, oh, the King's Rock is the crown, or whatever. I mean, that's what usually it is, but... Wouldn't it be? Because, like, there's Slowking's back sprite that has the eyes on the back of the head, so it's like the combination. It's whatever, man. Anyway, speaking of Remoraid, when I did a second ago, here's Remoraid right here. I did see this on Twitter as well, along with the evolution. Remoraid was a gun. Who knew? Or some type of bullet or something like that. This one makes a lot more sense. And I wasn't a fan of Remoraid, like, at all, really. They should have made this design over the other Remoraid because, I mean, it just makes more sense, man. Like, if they decided to keep the current Remoraid based on the design, and people were supposed to guess that it was supposed to be a gun, they did not do like the most obvious, like, you know, like, hey, this is a gun. It's like, know, it looks like a regular fish to me. It just looks like a different type of fish that demands spring water. But you know. And then there's Octillery, which now the name makes perfect sense because there's the artillery and then here's the Octillery. It's a tank. The only thing is about it is like, you know, because there's Octillery is just a regular octopus. Octopuses to me, or octopi, sorry. I also feel like they should be a lot bigger as well. You know, like Donphan, an elephant should be much bigger. I'm not really sure what's the size of a regular octopus, but I always get the impression that they're freaking huge, you know. But yeah, I kind of prefer these designs over the current ones. I'm not really sure what this one is, but based on the next Pokemon, this is supposed to be a Tyrogue? This one looks really cool. It looks kind of like a... I mean, honestly, it looks like a Digimon, but it looks really cool. It looks like... If anything, this could be like another contender to... You know how Meryl's like another second Gen 2 mascot thing, you know, along with Pichu? This could be right there. I could see this with Ash, you know? Really interesting Pokemon. But yeah, the reason I say it might be a Tyrogue evolution is because I see Hitmontop right here. And he has slight change in his evolution. I mean, I might be wrong. Hitmontop looks extremely different. Now, I'm gonna guess that when they designed these, it was before the whole thing with Clefairy. If you don't know what Clefairy is, well, I mean, you wouldn't know because I just made that name up. But this Pokemon right here, originally this was supposed to be Clefairy's pre-evolution. And I'm guessing that they scrapped the ideas because it would make no sense for this thing to be nothing but spinning and then it just evolves into a hopping Clefairy. So they separated them to have, you know, Cleffa and him on top. So I'm surprised this isn't on the list unless I don't see it. But him on top looks a bit more different, and it looks like it's always meant to stay that in the bottom. That sounded weird, but like, you know what I mean, like it looks like it sees from the bottom and it stays that way. And this also reminds me of a Legend of Zelda character with one of those blue statuette things. Like if you go underneath them, they'll try to stomp on you, and if you shoot them with the light arrow, they'll turn upside down and then they crash down. That's what it reminds me of, except obviously not a statue. I find it really interesting, honestly. And then there's this thing. This might be a Growlithe pre-evolution? There's a lot of... They planned on so many baby Pokemon. So this one's a Hoppip. It looks too much like an Oddish, except with different, you know, hair. I'm not sure. The leaves. It looks weaker. I'll give it that. I kind of like the new Hoppip design. It has a tail, as you can see. And then there's Skiploom. Yeah, I still like the original design better. And then there's Jumpluff. Yay. This one is kind of... I feel like this could be its own Pokemon. Really. Like, this one by itself. I can imagine it in 7th gen, really. Yeah, so Hoppip definitely looked like an Oddish, so like, yeah, original designs. Jumpluff is fine by itself if it's with Hoppip and Skiploom. This Pokemon deserves to be on its own. Or they could have an evolution. They could just make it smaller, you know. And then we got Mime Jr. Where have you been? Why did you only come out in 4th gen? What are you doing here? Mime Jr. looks like he's I like this Mime Jr. He's all skipping and scopping and Um, I could he? I like Mime Jr. on its own. It's a perfect design because it kind of looks like a cupcake. In the future, if I ever get a Mime Jr., that's what I'm gonna call it, cupcake. This Mime Jr. Dude, they should really make an alternate breeding Pokemon like this. You know, because there's something that like, so for example, like, you know how there's Munchlax. If you would need the Lax Incense to have Snorlax hold on to it to breed to get a Munchlax, because if you don't have that Lax Incense, the egg will hatch and it will just be another Snorlax. You know, it kind of makes no sense to people that it just bam out of nowhere and then that's a thing now. So they could very well make this Pichu a thing since it's very popular amongst fans. They just need to keep pushing it. I haven't been seeing it lately. And then there's this Mime Jr. I could see it in Pokemon. Honestly, competitively is gonna be trash, but I mean, for the purpose of the anime and for the purpose of character models, I feel like this should be there as well. And then there's Smoochum with the dress, a little dress. Can I see this in the anime? I kind of can. The only thing is, like, I like Smoochum a little bit better. I mean, they might as well put this one in there too, because I can imagine it like dancing in his room as he's putting the like excited over his dress and all that. Really, really cool. We got Elekid evolution. Ooh-wah, ooh-wah, Elekid. It's cool, you know. It's like a lightning rod, except much smaller. Elekid is obviously much better on design. Elekid is a very solid design. For this one, should it be? I want to say yes, but in all honesty, when it comes down to it, I feel like this could be a different Pokemon on its own. It just have to be a different color. You know, it could be gray or something. It'll look similar to a Ferrothorn, but it would be like Metal Thunder type, even though there's already a Metal Thunder type. It'll be Electric Rod Pokemon, really. This Magby looks a lot better than the current Magby. Let me just tell excuse me. It definitely does look a lot better than the original Magby. It looks solid. This one right here is perfect. It's intense. It looks badass, and it looks like it could really mess things up. Because Magmar, if he's contending with Charizard, and they're really in it, and they're really good at fighting, then Magmar deserves to be, you know, a good statured Pokemon to be considered really, really good. I mean, it could just be Blaine's Magmar. Who knows? Maybe all the other Magmars are bad or something like that. But let's just say that Magmar, I mean, it is obvious. Magmar is a good Pokemon, so I feel like this Magby's a lot better, personally. I mean, the Magmy currently is pretty solid too, so don't get me wrong, it is pretty solid too. I just think this one's better. And then we got this one. This one's like a Blossom. I do remember Blossom being a bit different in the past. It wasn't green or blue. It was like, well, it was kind of a blue. It was a lot darker blue, and it was like so blue it was almost black. So I could see that they were straying away from that. You know, because they had it from Oddish and then Gloom and then Vileplume, so they wanted to have like another dark blue Pokemon, you know. I think Blossom now looks a lot better. It's all green, and yeah, so with the Sunstone you could get this, except with the pink petals. I mean, I'm pretty sure Blossom will look a lot better with pink petals and all that, so it would be good. This thing right here looks like an alternate version of Victory Bell. So I'm assuming, because they have like the pre-evolution, or the last Pokemon I would say that is Blossom, you know, you get Gloom and you get a Sunstone to evolve into a Blossom, that they plan for Weepinbell to have a Sunstone as well to evolve into this variation. which is really interesting. Design-wise, it looks weird, but I can imagine this in the anime, which is important. And it really fits what Bellsprout was originally meant to be. Because Victory Bell, Jesus Christ, it's like a really scary Pokemon. If you see it, if it was in real life, you would be running, man. Like, that thing has teeth, and it actually, like, even in the first time it was in the manga, that thing was eating Pokemon. Like, it's a Venus flytrap, which makes sense. It's supposed to be vicious, but for the nature of Bellsprout and Weepinbell, it looks like a goofy Pokemon, so it would fit. So I feel like they should have made this Pokemon, and they still can, you know. We got Miltank right here. It's a little bit of a redesign. It's kind of cool. I'm not really sure what this Pokemon is. It looks like a seal with like a fireball, so it's a fire type. That's a really interesting concept, and they really like their seals out here. I noticed they really like their otters and seals. That would be interesting Pokemon, but like it doesn't really make sense. Could it work though? I mean, it might as well can. They can make it work. It just has to be, I feel like they have to touch on it a little bit more. Yeah, that's how I feel. Not yet. Eventually they will. They have to just touch on it. These are all rough drafts anyway. This is 2nd gen sprite, so like, you know, it's a bit different. Just think about it like in the way that they had Golbat, because this is what it used to look like. If this was in here, I would be like, yeah, that wouldn't work. But Golbat now looks fine, you know. So we have Delibird. Looks a lot more merrier. It's all Christmassy and stuff. Delibird's fine as it is, you know. If it had the hat, I mean, it's only the hat, really. If anything, they could just add it in a special event. It's like, oh, this is Christmas Delibird, and people would be like, oh, I thought it was always Christmas, so it's fine. We got a little tiger hamster here. I love this thing. This should be a Pokemon for sure. I like the back sprite too. And then we got the evolution. I thought, like, because I saw it from far away, because it just stands out so much. I thought it was a tiger. I'm like, oh, this is cool. But no, it's a hamster. It's like a tiger hamster. It looks dope. I would definitely catch this thing. They always have their little hamsters and rodent Pokemon. It's really cool. We got Farfetch Evolution right here. I remember seeing this on Twitter as well. I only saw like a handful. So people are mad that Farfetch doesn't get an evolution. They're like, what the heck, man? Farfetch had an evolution the whole time to make it not suck? I remember I used a Farfetch before when I traded Spearow, and it was called Dux. It was not that good. Farfetch desperately needs an evolution. The design though looks too much like Swanna. I mean, this was before Swanna anyway, if they were going for it. They need to work on it just a little bit more. I feel like the design could be a lot better. But nonetheless, it's, you know, is what Farfetch needs, definitely. They're on the right track. I'm not sure what happened to the leak, you know, the little stick thing he was holding. It looks a bit different, so I don't really know if he could actually hurt things with that or not. We got some type of, like, chipmunk Pokemon, I think. I can't really tell. Or is that a teddy bear? I'm not really sure. I thought that was the back of it. Like I said, it's hard to tell because the back sprite looks too similar. Yeah, and then there's the following evolution, if it is the evolution. It looks kind of like Beware almost. So maybe that's what it originally was. Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Maybe this was the original stuff and this was the Beware. Except they're a lot more on pet size, you know. Here's Murkrow redesign, or original design, I should say. It looks a lot more like it's It's trying to find out what house it is. Are you part of Gryffindor or are you part of Slytherin? You look like a Slytherin piece of slime. I'm just kidding. But Murkrow's fine as it is, as in the, you know, design wise. This is interesting right here. I like the Chansey pre-evo. It's a lot better than the Happini one, I would say. This actually works a lot better in the anime too. Yeah, they should definitely put this. It's I agree. This one's great. I like it. Just don't do the stupid oval stone evolution thing, because that's just making it. Chansey is already a rare enough Pokemon. Why make it harder? You know. And then we got this original Scizor. It looks so much more intense, and I could see it has a mouth. I feel like this could work. Scizor, this one could work. I like Scizor's design already, though. They might as well make this Pokemon in there as well, except with I mean, it already does look metally. It does look like it's hard steel, like you can't break them really. But maybe they could have like a different type of evolution to have this thing. Maybe like instead of a metal coat, it would be like I'm not really sure, like a special item, like, you know how there's the Razor Fang and the Razor Tooth. They should might as well have like different variation of the metal coat, the steel coat. I don't know. Now this one's also interesting right here, because we got ourselves a Pinsir evolution. But the interesting about Pinsir evolution, it looks similar like a Heracross. And I'm kind of wondering why now. Like in the first couple episodes in Johto, I always wondered that they have Heracross and Pinsir always seems to butt heads. And this is probably the reason why right here. Pinsir and Heracross, this actually looks cool though. Pinsir's a very legitimate Mega Evolution. It's very dangerous. An evolution, yeah, maybe, and then a Mega Evolution. I mean, what I feel about when it comes to Mega Evolutions, there's some that doesn't really need them, and then there's some that, you know, definitely needs them. For example, I don't feel like Mawile needs a Mega Evolution, because I feel like he could have an evolution, then a Mega Evolution. The Mega Evolution could very well just be an evolution on its own, and then the Mega Evolution would be even crazier with like the mouse, on the pigtails being monstrous and devouring everything. It would be devastating, you know. So yeah, this Pinsir, it looks dope, but you know, of course we definitely do need Heracross. It makes sense. We got Houndour's redesign, original design, I keep saying that. And then Houndoom has a similar sprite. The back sprite looks kind of weird because like the horns look a lot smaller, but you know. We got like another variation of Tangela. It looks a lot fluffier in the evolution. I'm not really sure what it is. It kind of reminds me of one of those Star Wars aliens that are fluffy and they're just trying to be cute and stuff. This, I'm not sure what it is. It has a lot of orbs around them. Kind of like a dog of some type. Yeah, something like that. I don't think it could work in the anime. In the games, it kind of reminds me of a cast form, honestly, but the sun kind. I don't know. I'm not sure. There's the Lickitung evolution. I don't know if this is an evolution or not. I mean, it looks like the same size, unless it's really big. I don't know. It has a mustache. And it has a hat. I mean, that's why I think so. It just looks like a Lickitung. It's a bit saggier, but it just decided to grow a mustache, and that, you know, he's just went like, oh, it's cold outside, and I don't want people seeing my bald head, so I'll just wear a hat. The Lickitung design's fine as it is, and Licky Licky, you know, it's just better than this thing. Let's just put it that way. We got a Steelix redesign, original design. Stop saying that, Skarnet, god dang it. Yeah, we got Steelix right here. It looks the same. Yeah, the sprite looks exactly the same. Maybe the color was supposed to be different. And I guess this is the Seadra evolution. This is the other original Kingdra. I can see the tongue sticking out of it. I actually would have liked this Kingdra a lot more. Because Kingdra, you have probably already heard it a million times. Kingdra to me, as design-wise, looks like an old man. Up until like maybe like a few years ago, I started using Kingdra and Showdown, and I really loved them. Like I use a physical set, and people always bring their fairy type Pokemon in because they're so used to seeing Outrage. But nope, I give them Iron Head, and then boop, one shots Vorgus without a problem. And UU. So you know. As for this one, this Kingdra looks a lot better in my opinion. It's just the tail. The tail is the only thing that bothers me. It's too curled up. I mean, it makes sense because, you know, it's still a seahorse, but... And I always knew as a kid that Horsey, when it evolves into Seadra, that it was gonna be a dragon. And I thought Seadra might as well be a dragon, you know? So, yeah, that's how I always felt about that. So these are the original legendary dogs, or legendary beast. So this is the original Raikou, and here's the original Entei, and here's the original Suicune. They're drastically different, which I find interesting, because Raikou, it looks kind of like a mixture between Zeepstrika and like and honestly reminds me of the water puppy starter that I tried to draw. I would say Houndour mixed with Zeepstrika. Raikou's current design is perfectly fine as it is. Actually, all the legendary beast designs are pretty legitimate. I do like the original Entei though. He is pretty cool. I feel like he could still be a thing. A mixture between like a skinnier Arcanine, Rapidash, and Houndoom combined. That's what it looks like to me. I feel like this could work. And this one could work as well. This is like the original design of Suicune. It reminds me of also in Digimon, where like where Kari, his Digimon Digivolves with the egg, and it gets like I forgot her name. It's like Nefarimon or something like that. It's like an Egyptian Digimon. You see it on screen. That's what it reminds me of. I feel like this could be a Pokemon as well, but they're definitely not gonna go for this one. Only because it feels like Pokemon try to stray away from too realistic Pokemon that look kind of like people, you know? Because there's human-shaped Pokemon, but they kind of make it so it you know, you could tell them apart. Like you wouldn't say Mr. Mime's human, but he's close enough to it, you know? Anyway, we got this Pokemon. I'm not sure if this was meant to be a legendary Pokemon, but it's in the bottom of the list. Some kind of variation of ferret. I don't think it's centered or for it, honestly, but it's down here. Not really much to say about it. It kind of reminds me of a Pachirisu that like got lazy one day, and you know, pretty much. Here's Ho-Oh redesign. Original design. God dang it, I keep saying that. Alright. And we got Togepi right here. A little bit of a difference. And the thing is, I was going to mention this before, but I decided to hold it off. Because there's... And I mentioned this before as well, but I don't even remember what video I said it in. there's a Sinnoh episode in Diamond and Pearl where there's a pissed off Togepi. He's like really angry, and he's like making sure that Ash and Co are having so much trouble, and then like his rivals with Happiny. And I thought to myself, because there's Pokemon that evolve by friendship. Now the thing is, this Togepi will never ever evolve ever again. And I thought to myself, I mean, like, unless it's gonna change his life, or it finds somebody that, I mean, but like that's happiness though. That's what I'm saying. It evolves by happiness. I don't think it. Technically speaking, you could be happy by and still be evil, but like, wouldn't there be like a dark variation of these Pokemon? Because there's Crobat, you know, when you evolve Golbat to Crobat, that evolves by happiness, but Crobat doesn't look happy, you know. I mean, I've seen Crobat smile before, but that's a bit weird. Which is why I feel like they might as well have another alternate version of Pokemon, you know. All the Pokemon that evolve by happiness, like Pichu to Pikachu, Cleffa, Clefairy, all that, Railu to Lucario. If they had separate evolutions that look entirely different, then it would change the game up, you know. They can make Pikachu that look more like the design of Pichu and with the different body stature. And then there's also like Munchlax that also evolved by happiness. Change his stature up as well. And Golbat will look like a scarier bat or some kind that looks too happy. You know, you can make him opposite. Yeah, I try to design, I try to draw them on my own time. So one of these days I'll put that up, and I'll refer to this video. So, you know, I see Snubbull. It looks kind of the same to me. And I see Apom right here. Now Apom looks interesting because one of my top least favorite Pokemon is Sableye, Ambipom, and Alolan Raticate. Alolan Raticate is a new addition, by the way. He reminds me of a nuisance, which is my least favorite animal. Apom right here actually looks a lot better. I actually like this one. It looks like a combination of a cat and a monkey, and I feel like this one works. Would I use them? Probably not. I wish they made the Ambipom design a lot better, because I feel like it's atrocious. But this one could definitely work. And I see like one more grass starter of some type, which is interesting. I don't know if this is another legendary beast or if this was originally Celebi, but it is pretty cool. I actually like this one. Maybe this was the Force Seeker one, like how they did with Keldeo or something like that. Definitely should have been in the game. It reminds me of Leafeon and Virizion combined, so that's really cool. And I also see the egg and the missing no picture right there, so yeah. So that's pretty much it for all the designs. Next time I'll show you a variation of different fan art that I wanted to promote in the channel, so I'll be doing that. And there's another person as well that I want to show fan art of, so don't worry about it. It will come soon. It will come next week, and stay tuned. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. So, White Tigers and Dragons to you. Do not forget to vote. Vote for any game you want me to play for the 10th Let's Play by putting it down in any video, a comment down below. Kind of said that backwards. Put it in the video of. Put a comment in any of the videos is what I want to say. Jesus. Be sure to do that. And White Tigers and Dragons to you. And you've been scarred by the night. I'm out.